Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is great to see you here this morning in church. I'm so happy here. Good job getting here this morning. I have to just say, good on you. And in fact, I look at all of you, you look terrific, but I have to think also about those people that join us every week online or on the radio, and some special people. And we hear from them, they write into the church, and so I want to say a couple of special hellos today. First of all, I would like to say a big hello to Joan in Albuquerque, New Mexico, who joins us every week. And Joan, I hope you're enjoying the book I sent you this week. And how about Louise in Massachusetts? She wrote to us and she said, I make it a priority to listen to your weekly message. Thank you for being there. And Gregory in Connecticut, who wrote, thanks for sharing your great church with us every week on the radio. So for every one of you, wherever you are, we're so happy that you're a part of our church, our Christ Church family. And folks, I'm looking at right now, don't ever take it for granted that you've got the awesome privilege of being a part of a church where the Spirit of God is moving in a massive way and where we're just touching people's lives every single week. I thank God for that. I thank God for that, and I thank you for that, because you are the muscle behind this ministry. And so thank you for all of your support, your prayers, your love, your attendance, your giving, all the rest of it. Thank you so much. You're making a difference, and it's being felt. And so I'll say it again, good on you. Well, today we're beginning a brand new series of messages called I Choose. And I want you to think about this for a moment. What are you today? What are you today? The answer is you are essentially the sum total of the choices that you've made throughout your life. It's true. You are the sum total of the choices that you have made. And what will you be tomorrow? What will you have the ability to do tomorrow? Well, that is determined by what you will choose today. Choices matter. Now, over the next 4 weeks, we're going to make 4 very specific choices together. And today, in order to introduce our first choice, let me ask you to do this. Would you just close your eyes and use your imagination for a moment? As we get started, just close your eyes, and I want you to imagine this. Imagine that everybody likes you. Imagine that no matter what you do, everybody approves of you. Now imagine this. Imagine that everybody who ever meets you thinks that you are awesome. Okay, eyes open now. Did you enjoy that little moment that I just gave you right there? Because let me tell you something, it will never, ever happen in real life. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work at it, you're never going to be able to please everybody. On the other hand, just imagine this. Imagine that there is something that not only can you do, something that can happen, but that God actually wants to happen in your life. Imagine being so consumed with pleasing God, so consumed with serving God, that you don't really care so much what other people might think. The approval of other people just doesn't matter that much to you anymore. Imagine this. Imagine that you wake up every single morning and you wake up with a passion and you wake up with purpose, because you know that during the next day ahead, you're going to be serving the purpose that God created you for in your life. Now, can you imagine that? Not only can that happen in your life, but that's what God wants to happen in the lives of every single one of us. And that's the choice I'm going to ask you to make today. I choose purpose over popularity. I choose purpose over popularity. In fact, I want you to say that right now because I want it locked in your brain, even when you leave here today. So, would you repeat after me? I choose purpose over popularity. Okay, you got it right now. Now, here's the thing. The problem is for so many of us, we don't know what our purpose is. And if you don't know what your purpose is in life, what do? You end up going through your life experimenting with different things. You experiment with this, you experiment with that, and you hope that you're going to get it right eventually, and you wind up just blowing through most of your life. You wind up wasting your life never doing what God created you to do. Now think about it. If you don't know the purpose of a thing, you're going to wind up misusing that thing, right? Kind of makes me think about when I was in junior high school. Okay, remember a day in junior high school where I went down to the boys' locker room and a group of girls chased me down there. They followed me into the boys' locker room. I think their friends dared them to do something like that, and they were all giggling, and they were cute as could be, and I loved it. So they chased me down there, and I can remember one girl walks in there, and she sees lining the wall in the boys' locker room these certain things. Don't make me say it. What do they have in a boys' locker room that they wouldn't have in a girls' locker room? Urinals. She takes, and these are not the small ones, these are the deluxe kind that go all the way down to the ground. So she stops and she takes a look at that and she says, "What's that?" They don't have anything like that in the girls' locker room. And then all of a sudden her facial expression changes and this look of wonder comes over her eyes. And she says, "Oh, I know what those are. Those are foot washers for their sweaty feet." Who knows where this story is going right now? Who just vomited in their own mouth right now? Well, I'm not going to take it any further, but you get the point, right? The point is, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you're going to wind up misusing that thing. And it gets even worse. There's even a greater problem than that. If you don't know the purpose of a thing, don't ask the thing, ask the one who created the thing. If you really want to know what the purpose is, don't ask the thing, ask the one who created the thing. And what we often do, what we usually do is, we look at the other people around us and we say, "Why are we here? What do you think? What's the meaning to this whole life? I don't know." And we look at other people and we say, "You've got to tell me what's working here, what we're supposed to be doing." And it's kind of like this, like, I'm a thing, you're a thing, and I say, "Hey thing, what am I supposed to do with my life?" And then I look at you and what you think, and I look for your approval, and I say, "Am I doing this right? Do I look right? Am I spending my time right? Do you like my hair? Do you like my clothes? Do you approve of me the way I am? Do you like me this way?" And before long, without even knowing it, you start living entirely for the approval of other people. We're trying to find our purpose. We're trying to find our meaning in life from the approval of other people. And we're forgetting that we were created for a divine purpose. Again, if you want to know the purpose, don't ask the thing. Ask the one who created the thing. And here's a big thought for you. If you're taking notes on your outline, write this down. Living for the approval of people keeps you from the purposes of God. Living for the approval of people keeps you from the purposes of God. Anytime we are consumed by what other people think about us, we lose sight of what God thinks about us. And I want to challenge you today to make a choice.
Happy birthday, John.
Well, thank you. I had a birthday the past week, and Jerry remembered. And Jerry, you have a birthday next week, huh? Tuesday. Okay, so on your way out, wish Jerry a happy birthday. But so what I'm saying is, choose purpose over popularity, because we are the sum total of the choices that we make. And I think about a man who did this. I think about a man who made this choice in his life, and he changed the world. Now, you can meet this man in the pages of the Bible because his name is Moses. Moses, I don't know if you remember this, Moses was the grandson, the adopted grandson of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Do you remember that when you read in the Bible? His adoptive mom was actually the daughter of Pharaoh. So Moses grew up in the palace, in the lap of luxury. Moses grew up every day with popularity and with public acclaim and with pleasure and anything the world could give him. He had it all. But he gave it all up to serve God, to serve God's purposes. He chose purpose over popularity. And here's the way the Bible describes the choice he had to make. The Bible says, by faith Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt because he was looking ahead to his reward. What did he do? He made a choice. He chose purpose over popularity. Or you could say he chose calling over comfort. Why? Because he was looking ahead to the rewards. Now, I understand that most of you are probably freaking out a little bit right now because you want to say, but Jeff, the thing is, I don't have a clue what my purpose is. I don't really know why God put me here on this earth. And most of you are thinking, there must be some big purpose for me being in this world. Like I meant to cure cancer, I just don't know it. Or I meant to invent this product that's going to change the world. Or I'm the guy who's going to bring peace to the Middle East during this generation. I must have a big purpose. Well, what I want you to do is this. Stop worrying about your big purpose, about what I would call your great big capital P purpose in life. What I want you to think about instead is this. I want you to think about your little lowercase p purpose. Not just one big thing. What I want you to see is how day after day, moment after moment, you serve God's purpose for that time, for that moment, for that person, for that place. For example, you're talking to someone someday, and all of a sudden it dawns upon you, my purpose right now in this moment is just to encourage this person who's having a tough time. That's my purpose right now. Or let's say you see somebody who's going through something, and all of a sudden it occurs to you that, hey, wow, I've got the ability to meet that need. I can meet that need for that person. That's God's purpose for me in that moment. Or you see a friend battling cancer, and they've got to get to the hospital for their chemo treatment, and they don't have a ride. And so you say, you know what? I got a car. I can drive. I can give them a ride. That's God's purpose for me in the moment. Or maybe you just plain got a boss who's a psycho. And so your purpose may be like, God put me in this office to pray for psycho boss. That's my purpose in the moment. And then one day, here's what's going to happen. Here's the cool thing. Here is what's going to happen in your life if you live your life that way. One of these days, you're going to open up your eyes. And you're going to see that when you're faithful enough in all those little lowercase p purpose moments, suddenly you recognize that God is trusting you with way bigger things. Why is that? Because when you're faithful in the little things, God always trusts you with bigger things. And then one day it's going to dawn on you. You're going to say to yourself, wow, this is why I was created. Now I'm able to look back over the course of my life and I see His design for me. And I see who He created me uniquely to be. And now, I'm starting to get a glimpse of my big capital P purpose in life. And I want to tell you there's real power in that. There's power in purpose. 3 thoughts for you about this, in fact. 3 thoughts. Are you ready for this? If you're ready, say, I'm ready. You didn't sound completely convinced. Are you ready for this? All right, first thought for you is this. Purpose diminishes distractions. It's powerful because purpose diminishes distractions. I think of Nehemiah. In the Bible, Nehemiah was heartbroken because he saw that the wall around Jerusalem was knocked down. It was broken down. And so he organized the people of Jerusalem to rebuild that wall. And one day he's up on the ladder. He's working away, and a bunch of negative Nellies come around, and they say, this is stupid. You're never going to be able to rebuild that whole wall. And they say, Nehemiah, come down from there right now so we can talk some sense into you. Well, I love Nehemiah's response. He says, sorry guys, I'm doing good work up here, and I can't come down. I love that. I'm doing good work, and I can't come down. I'm fulfilling God's purpose in the moment, and I can't get distracted. I'm doing what God created me to do, and you can't stop me. Now, some of us need to internalize that kind of attitude. And we've got to make that kind of our own internal dialogue as we go through life. You know, we've got to be able to say inside of ourselves, I'm doing great work, and you're not going to bring me down. I'm fulfilling God's purpose in this moment. It might not seem big now, but over time, God is going to reward me. God is going to bless me. Purpose diminishes distractions. And the second thing, purpose pushes you through the pain. Maybe there's someone here this morning who needs to hear that, because you need to keep pushing. Purpose pushes you through the pain. It's kind of like a pregnant woman who's pushing to get through the pain and to deliver that baby, right? My daughter Jess just had a baby, by the way. Just had a baby about 2 weeks ago. And I think about this whole thing about having babies. It's kind of freaky, isn't it? I mean, it kind of freaks me out when I think about it. I mean, honestly, how does a woman do that? Well, I know this much anyway. She goes through all of that for the payoff at the end. She wants that little baby thing to hold, right? She's ready to keep pushing through the pain so she gets to hold that little fellow in her arms. And you know what? It's the same with you. Same with your life. If you have a purpose, it gives you the motivation you need to keep pushing, to keep going. And how many of you already know that it's going to be painful for you to go after your purpose? It's going to be painful as you push towards your purpose. You see, the pathway to your purpose is paved with pain. I like that sentence for somebody sitting the first service, right where you're sitting in the front here. They said, next time I'm not sitting in the front row when you say that many P's in a row. But I like the sentence. The pathway to your purpose is paved with pain. But it's true every single time. And don't think that you're going to be the exception to that. It was a pain for Moses, it was for Jesus, it was for Mary, and it will be for you. Because whenever you're doing God's will, your spiritual enemy is going to resist you. I don't worry about getting resistance in my life. I'll tell you when I worry when I get no resistance. Because I know that when I'm really doing God's will and I'm making headway, I know I'm going to experience resistance. But I keep my eye on the goal and I keep pushing through the pain. And then a third thing, purpose empowers you to please God. Purpose empowers you to please God. Here's the deal. You can't please everybody. Remember we began with that silly imagination exercise we did there? Biggest waste of your imagination ever, right? I mean, because it'll never happen in your life. But get this into your mind. Get this into your soul right now. You can't please everybody, but you can please God. You can. How do you please God? When you live your day by faith, you're pleasing God. When your eyes are open to all the small little purpose possibilities, you're pleasing God. When you're doing what you're called to do in the moment, you're pleasing God. And day after day, week after week, year after year, you're making choices. And you are today the sum total of the choices you've made in the past. And the decisions you make today will determine who you are tomorrow and what you can do tomorrow. You have a choice to make over and over and over again. Am I trying to please God, or am I trying to please people? I choose purpose over popularity. How about you? I choose to be faithful in the little purpose moments. How about you? Because when you are faithful in the little things, what does God do? He trusts you with the big things. So God help us. God help us choose purpose over popularity. Let's bow our heads now and pray together. Father, may we just wake up every morning fired up to serve you. And whatever the day looks like, whatever the task is that's in front of us, may we serve you with our whole heart. Even though it might not feel big, might not feel significant, I want to be faithful in the little lowercase p purpose moments, believing that you will honor the effort and trust me with even more. I have a choice to make, and I choose purpose over popularity. And Father, maybe there's somebody right now. Maybe there's somebody right now and they're kind of thinking, I don't know much about God's purpose for my life. I don't know much about God or the Bible or church. And if that's you, well, let's just take one more moment to pray together. Just you and me and God. Just say, God, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your Son, Jesus. I want to understand why his death on the cross was so important to me. Such a big deal. And so right now, I'm opening up my heart and I'm inviting you to step inside. I don't understand it all. I don't have all the answers. But to the best of my ability, I give my life to you. I choose you, Jesus. Amen. Oh, and P.S., I've made my choice. Help me stick with it. Amen again.